Hello everyone. Wartime is never a good time for any human. There are times filled with disasters, heartbreaking events, and losses. After World War I, the world was not ready for another war, but sadly, they faced World War II after a short while. Along with this, some unsolved incidents full of danger and mysteries occurred. Let's examine together some weird and unexplained incidents that happened amidst all the death and destruction of World War II. In Nazi Germany, many strange secret organizations were established. The purpose and actions of one of them were quite frightening. Named Enigmas, the purpose of this organization was to research the anthropological, cultural, and dramatic heritage of the Aryan race. According to this project, Germans were accepted as the true descendants of the ancient Nordic people. They were conducting research all over the world and trying to expand their influence areas. They were mobilized to reveal the past of their country and to build a victorious Germany. The ways they realized their planned projects and plans were quite strange. They included both science and magic in their studies. Hitler was particularly interested in occultism. He was someone curious about magic and similar strange teachings. He researched ancient cultures and was interested in ancient artifacts. All these have determined the culture of the weird organization they founded. The Enigmas organization was nourished from old Nordic German beliefs. Along with this, the organization, which researched and investigated the origin of the German race, was one of the most interesting institutions of the organization, the Military Scientific Research Institute. Because the institution's field of impact and research was very broad, it is very difficult to summarize its purpose. In 1943, Wolfram Sievers was elected as the president of this institution. Under his presidency, the organization started to implement its horrific plans. Unethical horrific tests were conducted on the inmates of the concentration camps. These tests included survival and endurance, experimental drugs, and surgeries. Genetic manipulations and experiments caused innocent people to suffer and lose their lives. The ultimate aim of the scientific tests seemed to create a Nazi super soldier. This project was named Übermensch, meaning the superior human. Wolfram Sievers turned to cultural research to achieve this goal. They wanted to make the pilots and SS soldiers were used as guinea pigs for the creation of the superior human. The tests usually included near-death experiences. According to what was said, they wanted to have soldiers who could come back to life and fight after they die. So according to the research, Nazi scientists were working on a secret zombie soldier program. They also caused their own soldiers to have near-death experiences in these experiments. Some lost their lives in these experiments. It is thought that the experiments are related to the legends of the ancient German warriors. According to the diabolical plan they set up, the soldiers fighting for Hitler would continue to fight after they die. However, despite all the painful experiments, they could not succeed. No Nazi, including Hitler, who lost their life, could return. The Los Angeles War. Have you heard that a front was opened in Los Angeles during World War II and there was an active conflict there? This is a rather strange incident that we encounter very little in documentaries and history books. It was just weeks after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The United States was certain that there would be new attacks. On December 9th, it was reported that there were approaching planes to the shores of the USA. The information that a new attack was imminent caused great panic in the city of New York. However, these reports were just errors. Inexperienced U.S. pilots confused fishing boats and whales with Japanese submarines. These reports even caused terrific fear. Everyone was very tense, rumors spread from ear to ear at a terrific speed. On top of these, on February 3rd, a Japanese submarine really surfaced just off the coast of Santa Barbara, even attacking a oil field by firing a few cannons. Although there were no casualties in this attack, an enemy bullet hit the U.S. mainland for the first time. The USA found itself in a defensive rather than an attacking position. Just after 2 a.m. on February 25th, the radar gave a signal for enemy assets just off the coast of Los Angeles. With this signal, air raid sirens began to ring all over the city. All the electricity in the city was cut off, anti-aircraft guns were placed in certain areas, the sky was illuminated with searchlights. All precautions were taken, the city was ready to fight. At 3 o'clock, gunshots began to be heard. It was reported that unidentified objects passed over Santa Monica several times. The soldiers started an unprecedented bombardment against these objects. The bombardment continued for about an hour. In total, more than 1,400 shells were fired. Despite the intense shooting, no object was damaged. After an hour of relentless shooting, the all-clear signal was given at 7:21 a.m. After the situation calmed down, it was stated that there were no Japanese planes and no attack. In this incident, known as the Battle of Los Angeles, 3 people lost their lives due to heart attacks caused by fear and stress, and 3 others died in car accidents caused by the blacked-out city lights. During the investigation after the incident, it was revealed that there were no Japanese planes or any aircraft, and the panic was caused by false alarms and mass hysteria. The Philadelphia experiment is one of the most popular conspiracy theories of the 20th century. According to this theory, the U.S. Navy has conducted a secret experiment in the Naval Shipyard of Philadelphia in 1943. With this experiment, it was aimed to make a warship invisible and thus give it a strategic advantage in the war. According to some allegations, the ship was not only made invisible, but also teleported from Philadelphia to Norfolk, Virginia, hundreds of miles away. The ship mentioned in this experiment is the USS Eldridge, a Cannon-class destroyer escort. Although this story is mostly based on urban legend and conspiracy theory, it has been a topic of discussion for many years due to the lack of clear information about the incident. While many researchers state that such an event is impossible according to the laws of physics, the theory has remained alive in the public's mind for many years due to the mystery surrounding the event. However, despite all these discussions and investigations, no concrete evidence or documentation has been found that such an experiment was conducted. All the information about the event comes from second-hand or third-hand sources, and no one who directly witnessed the event has ever come forward. Do you think it's possible for a German submarine to encounter a mythical sea monster? Who killed the Red Baron? Before jet engines and composite materials, warplanes were made of wood and fabric. It was very difficult to have new technologies, especially during wartime. At that time, warplanes would engage in tough battles in the sky. This attempt of enemy pilots to shoot each other in the sky was called a dogfight. For a war pilot, winning 20 dogfights was a very difficult event. A pilot who won 20 dogfights was considered a legend. The Red Baron, a German pilot with a red plane, left legends behind by winning the first 80 fights. With his blood-red plane, he was spreading death in the sky. The Red Baron went down in history as the greatest pilot of all time from both sides of the war. On April 21, 1918, the Red Baron and his squadron attacked British and Canadian planes in France. In the aftermath of this attack, Baron and 2 of his friends were pursued by the Canadian amateur pilot Lieutenant Woolmain. Canadian Squadron Commander Captain Arthur Roll Brown was trying to come to his aid. At this time, he witnessed the whole work very well. The Red Baron, who chased the Canadian pilot, made a mistake and flew far behind enemy lines. Canadian Squadron Commander Captain Arthur Roll Branda approached him and opened fire. At that time, the planes had machine guns. They were flying over Australian soldiers. Australian soldiers opened fire on the Red Baron. A bullet that hit the Red Baron caused serious damage to his heart and lungs. When he was hit, he changed his course and landed his plane on a road near Sayre. By the time the Australian troops reached him, the Red Baron had already lost his life. The bullet he took while in the sky was his end. However, it is not clear who killed the Red Baron. Canadian Squadron Commander Captain Arthur Roy Brown was behind him, but Australian soldiers also fired at the Red Baron from the ground. Military historians generally accept that Captain Braun killed the Red Baron, but some argue that the killer blow was struck by an Australian soldier. To this day, this issue has not been won ethnically. Canadian Captain Arthur Roy Brown said he did not see who killed the Red Baron and could not say more about the incident. Various theories were put forward to reduce the possibilities. According to these theories, Australian Sergeant said Rich Popkin was in the best position to shoot the Red Baron based on the angle of the bullet that hit. In this incident, the Red Baron's health condition and mental state were also questioned. Such an experienced and talented pilot flying low in enemy territory was a crazy mistake. Therefore, it is thought that he may have already been hit before entering this area. He may have made such a mistake because he lost his decision-making ability. So who do you think shot the Red Baron? The North Pole Nazis. A mysterious and German base left over from World War II was discovered on an island in the North Pole. The items found in this base used during World War II were quite interesting. This base was discovered by a team of Russian researchers. This place was an old meteorological station that the Germans called Schrat. It was built by the German army in 1943 in the area known as Franz Joseph's lands. These lands were so desolate that they were often forgotten. The North Pole Nazis were stationed on this forgotten island covered with snow and ice. By the way, it was last visited in the 1980s. Russian researchers went to the island just to find and document this mysterious base for the first time and came advantageously during the extremely hot summer months of the poles. When they went, there was no snow and ice in the abandoned mysterious Nazi base, which made it easier to research and make discoveries in the area. Some items left behind by German officers who used the base were found there. These were mainly uniforms, rifles, machine guns, ammunition, hand grenades, and Karamans. This island had a dry and germ-free environment. Therefore, many wooden, leather, and fabric objects in the region have been cleaning his chimney. This letter found by David Martin could have been a secret sent by a British commander fighting against the Nazis 70 years ago. Martin's home and Breaker's school was quickly informed about the case, as they thought they could decide 103 years.